Hello everyone, welcome to Drishti IAS. I, on behalf of Drishti, welcome you to this session. Now, this is a session where I will be talking about a new course that we are launching for you in order to help you out to prepare better for your upcoming UPSC 2024 exam, and that is a batch on CSAT 2024. Now, this batch is going to be an English medium batch, and the classes are going to be offline as well as online, right? So this is an offline online course that we are launching for you. Now, why this course becomes important to you, let me give you a brief idea about that. See, you all are familiar with the question paper that was asked in 2023 UPSC exam. And I'm specifically talking about the CSAT paper. The paper was lengthy, the paper was tough. But what I feel that if we prepare well for the future exam, if the same paper continues, even if the same pattern continues, then also we will be in a very good position to secure the qualifying marks and even well beyond qualifying marks. But we have to prepare well for that. And to make your preparation better, to make your next CSAT paper easy, sir, we will be launching this course. And now in this course, let me tell you first a few key features, then I will tell you more about this course. Now the start of this course will be on 17th of August 2023, where we will be starting in two batches. Your batch 1 time would be 11:30 a.m. and your batch 2 time will be 6 p.m. I'll not write 1800 hours, right? I'll write 6 p.m. right? So first batch will be at 11:30 a.m. and the second batch will be at 6 p.m. Now, since UPSC has shifted its pattern, so we are also going to shift our learning methodology. Now, in these sessions, we are going to talk the concepts in detail from basic to advanced. So, like, we will be focusing on each and every aspect of a particular topic, like what are the easy questions that my examiner can frame from this particular topic and what are the tough questions that my examiner can frame from this particular topic. So we will be moving with the topic in a sequential manner, right, in a proper manner, step by step manner. Like, we will be practicing the question, we will be learning the concept, right, we will be focusing on learning the logics, right, the basics, the fundamentals, as well as we will be focused on learning the short tricks, right? Because in UPSC I feel that learning basic is also as equal important as learning to your tricks, right, your short tricks, your formulas, your shortcuts. So we will be focusing on basics as well, right, on the fundamentals as well, on the core concepts as well. Now, like, I have a normal practice when, like, in my teaching methodology, I have a normal practice that I let you solve the questions in parallel to the class, right? So first I will teach you the concept, then I will show you like a couple of examples on that particular concept, and then I will give you practice questions in parallel to the class where you will be solving those questions in front of me, right? Then I will show you the solution. So at the same time, simultaneously, you can make an analysis that how much you are gaining through these concepts, through these sessions, right? At the same time, you can make a self-analysis, right? I'll not ask you to make the analysis afterwards, right? Make your analysis at the same time while solving the questions in parallel to the class, right? So I will give you a sufficient time which I feel is okay to solve that particular question, and then we will go to the solutions. So this is like what we are going to do now. After every class, right, I am going to give you class assignments, which are going to be questions that you are going to solve at home, because once you have learned the concept in the class, once you have solved some practice question in the class, at home, you can try these questions to see whether you have retained the concept or not. Now, after the class, your classes will be available at your Drishti Learning app account in recording format. So you can revisit these recordings. You can clear your doubts, right? Clear up. Suppose if you have just one doubt or like a couple of doubts pertaining to the concept, you can revisit these recordings. You can clear your doubts, right? Because the recordings will be available in the format of your class only, so the flow will be maintained, right? You will not be learning that in a different environment. The environment would have been same, so you can learn from that in a better way. Suppose after learning the concept through recording also still your doubt has not been cleared, then in the next class, before the class, or at the end of the class, or after the class, you can ask me your doubt one to one, where I will be clearing your doubts one to one, right? Pertaining to assignments, pertaining to a question which was discussed in the class, or pertaining to the concept which we have discussed in the class, right? Anything. So any subject related doubt, you can ask me in the next class, right? Or at the end, before the class, at the end of the class, or after the class, right? In which is more convenient to you, right? So I leave that up to you. So you will be getting your assignments, right? Daily class assignments. So you have to keep a track record of it, that you solve them regularly, you don't pile them up. So now let me tell you like the syllabus, right? However, I'm going to tell you this syllabus in your first class as well, but since you will be watching this session, so I thought why not to show you the syllabus that we are going to cover in these sessions, right, in this particular course. So these are your some of the topics of your logical reasoning, like counting of figures, coding, decoding, ranking, ordering and time sequence, number series, directions and sense, blood relations, clocks, calendar, circular sitting arrangement, linear sitting arrangement, analogy, classification, syllogism, Venn diagram, dice, cubes, mirror and water image, paper folding and cutting, picture analogy, classification and embedded, picture series and completion, statement and assumptions, statements and course of action, statement and arguments, statement and conclusion, missing number, coded equations, letter series, puzzles, inequalities, conditions and grouping, right? So these are the topics that we are going to discuss in this particular course, right? And like I will be bifurcating some of the topics as well, so don't worry about that. Like letter series, I will be bifurcating letter series into two parts, capital letter series and small letter series. So I will be covering them both, but right now, as of now, I have kept just one of the topic, the main topic name. When I will be bifurcating these topics, I will tell you in the class itself, right? So like if you want, you can take a screenshot of these topics if you want to keep it with you, which would be better for you. Otherwise, when you will be joining us in the course, right, in the first class, I will show you the syllabus again. So at that time, if you want, you can take the screenshot or can copy these topics over there. Now, this will be your data interpretation topics. I will be taking your data interpretation portion as well. So these are the data interpretation topics which I will be teaching you in this course. Column chart, line chart, pie chart, tabular form, radar chart, caselet form, missing data interpretation, and mixed data interpretation. These are the topics of data interpretation which we will be learning in this course, right? So like in this course, we will be dealing with a lot of questions since UPSC has changed its pattern, right? So in this particular course, what I have included that in your classroom questions, right? We have also made changes. I have included more variety of questions so that you should be able to understand the concept of each and every available type, so that nothing new seems to you in the paper, right? You should not feel that this is a entirely complete new question, right? I have tried to frame out the language of the question, keeping in mind the examiner's point of view, right? So that will give you a better idea. Now let me show you, as most of the students or majority of the students or almost everybody, right, felt that 2023's paper was really lengthy, was really tough. Now let me show you up some previous year questions as well, so that you can also make an analysis that the topics that we have named, questions are coming from those topics, right? So let's discuss some 2023's questions. This is the first question that we have kept. I'm not going to talk about all the questions which were asked in 2023 exam, right? I have just selected out some of the questions, and like some questions were really easy, so that I also wanted to give you an idea that in exam not every question is tough. Sometimes the some of the questions were very easy and some of the questions are going to be very easy, right? I'm talking about future as well, and I have taken some of the tough questions as well, just to show you that if you solve these questions with logic, if you clear your basics, sir, question would become very simple. All right, so this is our first question, which is based on coding decoding, right? If 0 is written as CHUR, then how is player written in that code? So now, in order to solve any question of coding decoding, sir, we require the knowledge of ABCD. And to solve the questions of coding decoding, sir, writing ABCD, right? Writing ABCD has a syntax, right? It is a strict pattern that you need to follow. And how you are going to write ABCD? From now onwards, you are going to write ABCD in this pattern only, right? If someone from you who has already solved questions of coding decoding, they know this format, that the first 13 letters of ABCD, they are written left to right, that is our conventional way, and the last 13 letters of our ABCD are written right to left, right, starting below from M. So from A to M, we are going to write the letters left to right, and from N to Z, we are going to write the letters right to left, starting below from M. When we write ABCD in this pattern, sir, it gives us a cycle of 26 letters, right? It gives us a cycle of 26 letters. Now we are always going to remain in between these 26 letters. And when we move from one letter to the other letter in alphabetical order, the gap between the letters is positive. And when we move from one letter to the other letter in reverse alphabetical order, so the gap between the letters is negative, right? So now, as you can see that here, a word is given, that is 0. Its respective code is given, that is CHUR, and examiner is asking me to find the code of the second word. So whenever you see such a question where a word is given, its code is given, and examiner is asking you to find the code of the second word, so the first and the foremost thing that you are going to do is that you are going to write the letters of your code below the letters of your word. So when I write the letters of my code, that is CHUR, below the letters of the words ZERO. Now I can see that my word contains 4 letters, my code contains 4 letters. That means each letter was given 1 letter code. Now suppose if Z was coded as C, now in my ABCD, I'm going to find the gap between Z and C, right? In my ABCD, in this writing format. Now see, in your exam also, in the rough space, you can write ABCD in this pattern, but write it at a very neat and clean space, right? So that you don't get confused. Now we are going to find the gap between the letters of Z and C. So moving from Z to C, sir, we are moving in clockwise order. We are moving in alphabetical order, because see, Z, A, B, C, right? I'm reading my ABCD in alphabetical order, starting from Z. So moving from Z to C, I'm moving in clockwise order, alphabetical order. So gap between the letters would be positive. And here gap between the letters is 1, 2, 3. Right, so this is a 3-letter gap. We are going to count second letter in our gap. So 1, 2, 3. So this will be, there will be a gap of +3. Now always make sure that the gap between the letters should always form a logical sense. Right? Why? I will tell you that. I will tell you a reason for that also. Now first let's find, suppose if E was coded, suppose if H was coded as E, right? Suppose if H was coded as E. Now let's see the gap between E to H, because E was coded like E was given code as H, So for E, if H was the code, the gap between E and H is 1, 2, 3, right? 3 letters. So it will be a +3 gap, because moving from E to H, we are moving in alphabetical order. So this will also be a +3 gap. Then for R to U, right, 1, 2, 3, this will be a +3 gap. Similarly for O, if the code would have been R, from O to R, the gap would be again 1, 2, 3, +3. Right, so here you can see that for all the given letters, +3 was the logic. Now we have to, using the same logic, we have to find the code for the word player. Right, so here for the first 4 letters, I can use the same logic, that is +3. Now what about the remaining 2 letters? Sir, if your second word contains more number of letters than your first word, sir, expand your logic, since here the gap between the letters was always constant. For the next 2 letters also, the gap would be +3. So from P at +3 gap, it will be 1, 2, 3 S. Now for L, from L at +3 gap, it would be 1, 2, 3 O. Right, now there both these were HO. Now see, the last 2 letters are different, right? So find the logic of last 2 letters. Here E is H, so at +3 gap, so it will H be only. R is U at +3 gap, so it will be U only. So the last 2 letters should be HU. There was only one option that had last 2 letters as HU. So you could have marked your answer here. Now don't think that the solution is so lengthy. Sir, I was explaining you the solution. Right, I explained you the solutions, that's why I took time. But suppose if I did not need, if I no need to explain it to anybody, if I'm just solving it for myself, I don't think that this question is going to take more than 30 to 35 seconds. Right, and suppose if I use my presence of mind and I read my options, right, this would be a 15-second question, because I will be looking out that since the gap is constant for last 2 letters, at constant gap, the code will be H and U. Right, and there was only one option. Now for the remaining letters, you can see the gap from A at +3 gap, it will be D. From Y at +3 gap, it will be B. So this will be your complete answer, like this. All right, let's take another question. Now this is a question based on ordering, right? It was on the concept of ordering. Consider the following statements: A is older than B, C and D are of same age, E is the youngest, F is younger than D, F is older than A. How many statements given above are required to determine the oldest person or persons? All right. So let's see how many statements are required. So we know that we have 2 kinds of order. One is increasing order, one is decreasing order. So moving from left to right, whenever we write the order left to right. So right now for this question, we will be forming a decreasing order left to right, right? So I will be writing the order in decreasing form from left to right. A is older than B. If A is older than B, that means A will be having more age than B, so A will be greater than B. C and D are of same age, so C and D are of same age. That tells me that here C will be equal to D, but how C and D are right now related to A or B, that is not given. So I will skip this line. I cannot frame my order. I cannot put these values in this order right now. E is the youngest. E is going to be youngest, but like even though E is going to be youngest, A and B are how much older than E, it is not given. Whether somebody, whether E is going to be immediately less than B, right, or someone is going to come between B and E, that is not clear. So I will not place them right now. See, I can use this line, 5th line, F is older than A. If I use this line, because I'm solving these questions keeping the exam in mind, right? So why I need to go in sequential manner? Why don't I select the manner where I can solve this question in an efficient way? See, F is older than A. This information I can place it in my sequence, and F is younger than D. If F is younger than D, that means D is going to be older than F as well. Now C and D are of same age, so I'm going to put a equal to sign in between C and D. C and D are of same age, and now E is the only person which is left out in our order. So E will be as E is the youngest person, E is going to be placed at last. Now, how many statements given above are required to determine the oldest persons? Right? How many statements are required, sir? All 5 are required. To find the oldest person, all 5 are required. Now you would say that, sir, if I don't use this statement that E is the youngest, then also I can find that C and D were the oldest. No, sir, E is not the youngest. If you are not using this information, then out of these 6 people, right, Where exactly E is going to be placed, that would be a confusion. So you have to use this third statement also. E is the youngest. So all 5 are required. This would be my answer. Don't get confused. Right? This would be required. E is the youngest. Otherwise, the place of E would not be clear. Fine? Alright, let's go to the next question. Now, this is a question which is related to blood relations. Consider the following, including the question and the statements. There are 5 members A, B, C, D, E in a family. Question: what is the relation of E to B? Statement 1, A and B are married couple. Statement 2, D is the father of C. Statement 3, E is D's son. Statement 4, A and C are sisters. Which one of the following is correct in respect to the above question and statements? Alright, so like we have to determine how many statements are sufficient to answer the question, or how many statements are needed to answer the question. What is the relation of E to B? See, A and B are married couple. A and B are married couple, but that does not tells me that who is male here and who is female here, right? Who is the husband, who is the wife? That is not being given to me right now. So I'll skip finding out their genders. Next, D is father of C. D is father of C, but how is C related to A or B? It is still unclear. So I cannot use this information and place it in my family tree. E is D's son, but we don't know how E and D are related to A and B right now. So we cannot use this. But if I use statement 4, A and C are sisters. See, A and C are sisters. That means A and C are going to be in the same generation. And since A and C are sisters, gender of both A and C are going to be female. A and C are sisters. R is plural, sir. So gender of both A and C are going to be female. And now A and C are sisters. That tells me that B is going to be male, because if A is female, A is going to be wife of B. So B would be, by default, he would be husband. That's why his gender would be male. Now it is given that D is father of C. If D is father of C, D will be one generation above C, because sir, father is going to come first, right? First D would have come in this world and then C would have come. So D is father of C. That means D would be one generation above C, right? And since D is the father, gender of D would be male. Now since D is father of C, by default D would be father of A as well. Sir, if D is father of C, D will be father of A as well, because C and A are sisters. They are siblings, and siblings have same parents. So D will be father of A as well. Right? That tells me. Now E is D's son. If E is D's son, that means E will be brother of C and A. If E is D's son, gender of E would be male, and now E is going to be brother of C and A, because they share same father. So they all 3 are going to be siblings. Now it was the question, what is the relationship of E to B? Now when we used all the 4 statements, then only we can determine, on using all the 4 statements only, we can determine that E was brother-in-law of B. E was brother-in-law of B. So all the 4 statements together are sufficient to answer the question. Option C would be the answer. Right? All the 4 statements were needed. See that, right? Because otherwise, see, with this we got the relation between A and B with first statement. With second statement, we came to know that like if D is there, right? D is father of C, or then how D will be father of A as well, right? E is D's son. With third statement, we came to know that E will be like sibling of C and A. With second statement and third statement, we got that how E, A and C are going to be related. And with the fourth statement, A and C are sisters, right? We came to know that B is going to be like brother-in-law of A. B is going to be, sorry, E is going to be brother-in-law of B. All right. Fine, sir. Now see this question. A plus B means A is neither smaller nor equal to B. Now see, this is a question based on inequality, right, which was something new in 2023. Now the question says A plus B means A is neither smaller nor equal to B. See, whenever you compare two quantities, or whenever you compare two quantities, only 3 cases can arise. Either the quantity can be bigger, right, or the quantity can be smaller, or the quantity can be equal. Right, so now he's saying that A plus B means A is neither smaller nor equal. That means A is not smaller, A is not equal. That means A is going to be greater than B. A minus B means A is not greater than B. If A minus B means A is not greater than B, that means A can be smaller or equal to B. A is not greater. Out of 3, greater, less and equal to. Greater is being discarded. That means A will be less than equal to B. A will be less or equal to B. A cross B means A is not smaller than B. See, out of 3, greater, smaller, equal. Smaller is being discarded. That means A would be greater or equal to B. A divide B means A is neither greater nor equal to B. That means A will be less than B, because greater and equal were discarded. So only one is left out, that is less than. And A plus minus B means A is neither smaller nor greater than B. So A is neither smaller nor greater. That means A is equal to B. Now you have decoded these codes. Now let's frame an equation here. P cross Q. See, A cross B means A is greater than equal to B. So P cross Q means P is greater than equal to Q. Next, P minus T. A minus B means A is less than equal to B. So P minus T means P is less than equal to T. Next, T divide R. A divide B means A is less than B. So T divide R means T is less than R. And R plus minus S would mean that R equals to S. So this is my equation, right? Now my first conclusion says Q plus minus T, that means Q equals to T. This is I need to prove. And second conclusion says S plus Q, right? That means S is greater than Q. Now the first conclusion says Q equals to T. So in your expression between Q and T, check whether all signs were equal. Since here in the conclusion you have to find an equal to sign between Q and T, right? In your conclusion, since you have to establish an equal to sign between Q and T, in your equation please check whether in between Q and T all signs are equal or not. See, greater than equal to will not be treated as equal to, less than equal to cannot be treated as equal to. So this is not equal to, this is also not equal to, right? They are greater than equal to, sir, they are not equal to, right? Since between Q and T not all signs are equal to, so this conclusion would be wrong, right? When you will learn this concept in detail, sir, when you are going to learn this concept in detail, it would be much better clear to you, right? I'll make these sort of questions very easy for you, right, after teaching you all the basic fundamental part. But right now I'm just trying to tell you that this question was also easy. Since between Q and T all the signs were not equal, this would be a wrong conclusion. Now my second conclusion says S is greater than Q. Between S and Q we want to establish a greater than symbol. Between S and Q we want to establish a greater than symbol. So in your expression, in your equation, please check whether between S and Q do we have at least one greater than sign. In my expression, please check whether between S and Q do we have at least one greater than sign. Now greater than equal to will not be treated as greater than, right? Less than equal to will not be treated as less than. Greater than equal to will be treated as greater than equal to, right? But even after eliminating these two greater than signs, two greater than equal to signs, we have one greater than sign. Still we have one greater than sign. And now in order to establish a greater than symbol between two elements, right, in your expression between those two elements you should have at least one greater than sign, at least one. And since one greater than sign is present here, this would be my correct answer, right? This would be my correct answer. So this is like, and now let me show you one question. This was the question that most of the people have struggled with. Now some of the like students, right, have gone through, who have a mathematical background, they have used the concepts of progression here. But my question is simple, sir. Someone who does not come from a mathematical background, how he or she is going to solve this question, right? This was a very easy question which people have made it difficult, right? I'll give you a very simple solution, right? It just requires the knowledge of logic, right? Once the logic is clear to you, the concept of logic is clear to you, right? Your basics are clear. This question would be very easy. Now you can see that there are 2z, 3y, 4x, 5w. Now as you move in reverse order, right, the letters are getting increased by 1, like 2, 3, 4, 5. Next it would be 6, then 7, then 8, then 9. So A will be written 27 times. If Z was written 2 times, Y was written 3 times, X was written 4 times, W was written 5 times, right? Next letter, the previous letter would be written 6 times, then 7 times. So last letter would be written 27 times, one more than the actual place, because like when you move in reverse order, so Z will be 1, right? Y will be 2, X will be 3, like that. So you can see that they are written like one more than the number of times their place value. 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 1 3, 3 plus 1 4. So A's place value would be 26, 26 plus 1, it would be written 27 times. B will be written 26 times. So now this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Now keeping with that, we will be getting the last term as 27. So first I need to find that how many terms are written, because I have to find middle term. So first I should know the total terms written in this sequence. For that I will add all these values, right? All these term values, 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, right, up to 27. Now I know that sum of first n natural numbers, is given by the formula n into n plus 1 by 2. Right, but sum of first n natural numbers, here first number is absent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add 1 to this expression and I'm going to subtract 1 from this expression, right? So now the sum of this would be given by n into n plus 1, where number of terms would be 27 because they are consecutive numbers. So last term would be by number of terms. So it will be 27 into 28 by 2, where this is going to cancel out 4 times. It will be 8, 2 carry 10, 7, 378, right? So this will be 378 minus 1, number of terms would be 377, and middle term is nothing but half of this sum. So middle term would be divided by 2, which will be 188.5. So it will be 189th term. So 189th term would be my middle term. 189th term would be my middle term. And from this 189th, like total terms are 377. So total terms are 377. So from 377, if I subtract 27, sir, all the A's are going to be removed. All the A's are going to be removed because I have to find middle term. See, sir, I would tell you one thing, that if you sit long enough in the question, the answer will find you. Right? If you sit long enough in the question, the answer will find you. Now, please focus only on this much part of your question. Right? Terms are 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So here sum would be sum of these terms. Right? I'm just telling you this. I'm explaining it to you why this method is correct. Right? This is not what you should have tried in your exam. This is just to give you an idea that our method is correct. Right? We are talking about the correct concept. See here, it will be 1 plus 2. I'm just adding 1 and I will be subtracting 1. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it will be 5 into 6 by 2 minus 1. This would be the sum of these these terms, which will be 15 minus 1, 14. So here right now total there are 14 terms. There are total 14 terms. And I have to find middle term. I have to find middle term. So it will be divided by 2, 7. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this will be my 7th term. Right? So from 14, if I subtract 5 W's, 9 terms are going to remain. 9 terms are going to remain. And from these 9 terms, since I have to find the 7th term, right, I will subtract 2 more terms. Right? I will subtract 2 more terms. That means 2x are going to be subtracted. So this x is going to be my answer. Right? Because x is going to be written 3 times. So if I am just subtracting 2x, right, my remaining x would be the answer. Suppose if all the 3 would have been subtracted, then y would have been the answer. Right? Sorry, x are going to be 4 times. Suppose if all 4 would have been subtracted, y was the answer. Right? So I'm going to subtract the term. So on subtracting 27, sir, all the A's are going to remove. Here I will be left out with 350 terms. Then on removing 26, all the B's are going to be removed. I will be left out with 3, 2, 4 terms. This is how I'm going to solve, right? This is how I'm going to see. But if I use a better approach, I will say that let's find out the sum in reverse order. Let's find out the sum which is going to be nearest to 189. So I will write 27 plus 26, that would be near around 50, right? Then 25 would be approximately 75, or I will just count 20, 20, 20, 60, right? I'm not taking the unit digits, I'm just taking tens digit. Then 24, 80, then 23, 100, then 22, 120, then 21, 140, right? And then 20, it will be 160. Right, so now I will keep it till here 160 because it is most near to 189. Now see, add all these digits and see what term value we are getting. 7 plus 6, 13, 18, 22, 25, 27, 28, right? 2 would be carried down. So this was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 16 plus 2 carry. So till here we are getting 188 terms removed. So out of 377, if I am removing 188 terms, that means 17 minus 8 would give me 9, right? Then this would be 16 minus 8, 8, and this would be 1. So I will be getting 189th term. So after removal of these many terms, I will be getting my 189 terms. So till here, on removing 27, all the A's will be removed. On removing 26, all the B's will be removed. On removing 25, all C's will remove. On removing 24, all D's will remove. On removing 23, all E's will remove. 22, all F's are going to remove. On removing 21, all G's are going to remove, right? And on removing this 20. So now, like when I see this when I remove this 20, because till here I'm getting 188 terms, so H will also be removed completely, because H is going to be written 20 times, so H will be removed completely. Now after removing these 188 terms, right, we will be getting 189th term which would be the next letter to H, and that would be letter I. So now letter I is going to be my middle term, right? So letter I will be my middle term. So like these were some of the questions which I have included in this session from your CSAT 2023. And I hope that you find these solutions easy, right? I explained these solutions to you, so that's why I took some of the time, but try these solutions on your own, right? You will see that these questions could have been solved within the time frame and well before time frame. So with this, I would request all of you to join the batch, right? We will be, again, I'm telling you that we will be starting the batch from 17th of August, right? There are two batches. Batch 1 is in the morning, 11:30 a.m. and the second batch is in the evening, 6 p.m. Right? So join these batches, or you can join through online medium as well. And let's make CSAT 2024 easy. Right, so you'll also work hard, I'll also work hard, and with both of our hard works, I promise you that CSAT 2024 is going to be easy. So with that, sir, let's conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching this session. Keep learning, keep smiling.